Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to show you how to properly iron your fabric, especially if you have a really big piece of fabric. So before you actually touch your iron to your fabric, you want to make sure that you know what your fabric is made out of. This one I have right here is made of 100% cotton. Once you know what your fabric is made of, then you can make sure you set your iron to the proper heat setting. So the irons will generally have some sort of a dial, a little circle that will spin on the inside, and it will have little words written on the inside of different types of fabric. So the fabric I have, again, is cotton, so I'm going to turn it all the way to the right. That's where it says cotton linen. But there are also settings for rayon, wool, silk, nylon, acrylic. So if I hold my iron up close, you can see those words in there. So make sure that your iron is set to the proper material for what your fabric's made from. So I have some pink fabric here, and I have it to where it is facing wrong side up. I personally like to start ironing wrong side up in case you make a mistake with your iron or in case your fabric has a bad reaction to the heat. If that does happen, you want to make sure you know that before you ruin the fabric. So oftentimes if you start with the wrong side up when you iron, it will keep you from destroying your fabric with an iron. So I'm just going to start kind of on one corner, and I'm just going to move my iron back and forth over my fabric, making sure that when I set my fabric on my ironing board that I use my hands to kind of flatten it out so I don't iron any folds in there on accident. Whenever you are using your iron, you want to make sure that your iron is constantly moving. Okay, you don't want to leave your iron sitting down flat on the hot part onto the fabric, because you could burn your fabric or even burn a hole in it. Also, when you use your iron, you want to make sure that whenever you set it down to move your fabric, you want to make sure you're setting it down on its butt, on its bottom part. You never want this hot part to be setting down flat, not on a counter or on an ironing board, because you could start a fire. So as I finish one section of the fabric, I'm going to then pick it up and move it. And I'm going to make sure that I iron all parts of the fabric. And then when I'm done with this side, I'm going to turn it over and iron on the other side. So I finished that side. Now I'm going to turn my fabric over. And I'm going to start at a corner here, and now I have my right side up. The reason you want to iron both sides is because you want to make sure you get out any folds or creases that were in it before. So if you look, you can see that there's a crease right here. So this fabric used to be folded this direction, but right here there's a crease the other direction. So this fabric used to have this end folded under. So whenever you iron both sides of the fabric, that makes sure that you get out both of those kinds of creases. Again, I'm just using my hands to flatten my fabric on my ironing board before I actually use my iron, because I don't want to purposely put in any kind of a crease that I don't want. Okay, so I'm done with this section. I'm going to move my fabric over. iron, you want to use a little bit of pressure with your hand on the iron, but you don't want to just force the iron down because that could burn your fabric as well. And I've got my last little section here. And there we go. My large piece of fabric is now all ironed.